So I've been going through those episodes of 60 Songs That Explain the 90s, that I thought that I had listened to or that I didn't know existed because the iPhone app makes it so that if you download something, it automatically marks it as played. And it's really obnoxious.
There's a lot of things I don't like about the podcast app on the iPhone and iPad. But,
yes.
Yeah.
But I was listening to the episode on Cake on The Distance.
Cake's from around here.
Well, that's the thing is Cake is from Sacramento.
Yeah.
And in that, he says that Sacramento is the Cincinnati of California.
I could go with that.
And I don't really know how he comes to that conclusion, but he just says that Sacramento is the Cincinnati of California.
I think it's kind of true. I feel like San Francisco is like the New York City of California, and then like Los Angeles is just the Los Angeles of California. And then I would say that like the entire middle part of the state, like Sacramento, Fresno, Bakersfield, you could find sort of analogous cities in like the Midwest. In the same way that people call the Midwest like flyover country, which I think is kind of rude. I'd say the entire middle of the state and then the extreme north part of the state is all sort of just flyover country for most people.
Yeah. Well, I always like it when he refers to certain cities like that. And I probably got the biggest laugh in the Limp Bizkit episode when he was talking about how Limp Bizkit is from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
And he says that Jacksonville is the Florida of Florida.
I could see that. I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of visiting Jacksonville, but
Me either. But it just, I guess that tells you everything you need to know about it.
Yeah, I'll take his word for it. Let's see here. I actually came with the goods today, so just stupid stuff,
Yeah, it's. I mean, is there anything that's never not stupid?
Well, I just think, we need to get this show back to its roots a little bit, So,
yeah.
I thought up a couple of stupid questions to ask you,
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, before we get into it,
I wasn't saying we had to do it right now. I was just giving you a preview of what we have coming.
I'm going to go and throw this out there early that people are listening to episode 55.
Yeah, double nickels.
Yes, or the Sammy Hagar of episode. I can't drive 55.
No, yes, I knew where you were going with that. I mean, it just really depends on one's feelings about Van Halen and their
Van
associated
Hagar
acts.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna throw out there is just say that it's probably probably going to annoy some people, but I prefer Sammy Hagar era Van Halen over David Lee Roth era.
I don't know. I feel like I might kind of agree with you. But I think part of that has to do with just how old we are, or at least how old I am. Like I remember, which album had Right Now on it? The Crystal Pepsi commercial song.
That's like, it has a red cover.
That's not for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, is it? Is that, that's not.
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it is.
'Cause I think I was like a freshman in high school when that came out.
Right. And, like that. And, what was the, I don't know. There's a
they had
few
like
on
why
the
can't
first...
this be love? That was Sammy Hagar, right?
Yeah,
that's a good song.
Yeah. I mean, I always felt that David Lee Roth was like annoying. Like, I mean, that was like kind of his thing. Is like he's like kind of a dick all the time. Like that was like his persona.
Yeah,
and I think that probably that persona was how he really was.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of thought that I don't like saying it because, of course, Eddie Van Halen is no longer with us. But just in like interviews that I've seen with them, like the Van Halen brother, and maybe especially Alex Van Halen, ironically, they just seem like really full of themselves and kind of snobby. Whereas, like David Lee Roth, like I agree with you. He seems like he's a little bit too much of a live wire for me. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, you said that he seems like a dick, but I would almost say like the opposite. Like he seems like especially if you want to party, he'd at least be fun to be around. Where like
that's true.
Alex Van Halen like farts in bed and then pulls the sheets over himself so he can smell it.
I guess that's a good way to put it. I've always been like a not a huge Van Halen fan. I mean, like I like the songs that I've never like. I think that like what is it? 1984 is like the only album I like listened to all the way through. I think I have that on vinyl.
That's already more than I do. But I don't know if you've ever had this happen where you have like a band that kind of gets ruined for you because like somebody that loves that band and you can't stand that person. That sounds weird, but
no, I get it though.
I have a neighbor like 2 doors down that I just cannot stand that guy. He's just like a huge a-hole. And his favorite band by far is Van Halen. And it's just like, I can't hear their music anymore without thinking about him.
Thinking about that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody that has ruined a band for me.
I mean, I was never a huge fan to begin. I mean, I think if it was a band I really liked, then of course that's not going to be, my hatred or whatever for somebody else would not be enough to ruin the band for me. This is already a band I don't really care that much about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of enough to just be like, I don't need to listen to that stuff.
Yeah, I get it. Except for right now.
Because when I hear that, I think of the Crystal Pepsi commercial and I think about being in high school and, that was a good time,
And when they reissued Crystal Pepsi a few years ago, I had it and I was like, this is pretty good.
I never was able to find any. I didn't try that hard, I don't think, but.
Yeah, it's a dumb idea. It is a really, really stupid idea.
Yeah.
But because it's not like it was tasted like Pepsi.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Because when you hear Crystal Pepsi, you imagine it to taste like Pepsi.
Yes, transparent Pepsi, yes.
But it's like its own taste.
Yeah.
It's just, it was not that bad. But I always think about that one guy on YouTube, LA Beast, that drank a original bottle of Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah.
Like he bought it off of eBay. It was from like the original run. And he drank it and he like threw it up all over over the table in front of him after a little bit.
I mean, I never thought about it, I guess. I don't know what happens to soda. Like, like how does soda go bad, specifically? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if you had asked me, I would have said that at worst, I would say it would probably go flat. Because, I mean, they're not like hermetically sealed. Like that gas will slowly escape over a number of years. But I guess I would just assume there'd be so many preservatives in it. But obviously I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think that the Crystal Pepsi kind of turned yellowish.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
That definitely means there's, some chemical reactions happening in that bottle of Crystal Pepsi then.
Yeah, but I should show you this video. It's very funny because he just kind of throws up, and it's just like he's just like throwing up water.
Yeah. I don't want to throw up anything, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have you ever? Are you like afraid of throwing up? Like if you know that you're going to throw up. Like sometimes I've been so sick where I just know that if I like sit up and I try to get to the bathroom, I'm going to throw up. But if I lay on my back, I will not throw up.
Well, I mean, I guess I'd be concerned about, do I think I'm not even going to make it to the bathroom before I throw up?
Yeah.
Then I'm scared's not the right word, but I'd be worried about it. But I mean, if there's something in my stomach that's upsetting it to the point that I need to throw up, I would rather throw up and get it out of there.
Yeah, get it done with.
Yeah. Well, I haven't thrown up in gosh, I bet I haven't thrown up in like 10 years.
Oh, okay. That's lucky.
Like I got really bad food poisoning about a little more like maybe let's say 11 years ago, I'd say. And I threw up a lot. And I don't think I've thrown up since then.
The last time I threw up, I don't know what I had, and I mean, I guess I'm just going to get into this and talk about it because I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
In retrospect, it was in the lifetime of the channel because I was supposed to stream, and it was less than an hour before stream, and I was like, man, I'm just like not feeling good, And I was sitting there, and I just like I sit up, and I throw up.
Like in your chair?
Like in front of me. Like, I was just like, I couldn't get up.
Wow.
And like while it was happening, like I began to like shit my pants.
Really?
Because it was just like, just like diarrhea,
Yes.
Like something happened, and I like ran to the bathroom before I completely shit my pants, and I bump into a light, like a studio light thing. It has like one of those like spiral bulbs on it.
Okay.
That you like maybe put like in a softbox or something like that.
Yeah.
And that fell over and shattered in the throw up.
Wow. I don't even know what to really say about that. That's
I mean, like, oh my God. Like, after all that happens, and now I got to like figure out how I'm going to clean this up. And I was like, I can't stream tonight. So I didn't stream.
I mean, I would hope not.
But it was just a funny sequence of events. Just how quickly things went downhill. And then, like I had to clean up the throw up with the light bulb shattered inside it, like in like a big light bulb, like a long.
Yes. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, all right. That was it. That was the story.
Yeah. I don't have a response to that story. Sorry. I've never done them both simultaneously. Like when I had that food poisoning, I would say I was going back and forth quickly, like I'd have to turn around and do one, turn around and do the other, but I've never had them both like come out at the same time. Yeah.
To this day, I still have no idea what caused it.
Yeah. Well, that's,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know where to go from here. That's the hard story to follow up.
I've killed the,
maybe a little bit.
The podcast probably. I'm always like coming up with these like stupid, gross stories or uncomfortable stories that I think that everyone's like, I don't even want to listen to this anymore.
Yeah,
like just get Corey off of here.
I get concerned, but I don't think that's the case, really. I mean, speaking from personal experience, not a fan of guest hosts on podcasts. So you're an integral part.
Well, that's good. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I guess by the time people listen to this, I don't want to talk about this for too long, but by the time people listen to this, the next episode of Weekend Rental will be out. And I just want to say how happy I am with the way these episodes have been turning out lately. And I know we talked about this like a year ago. I guess I'm finally ready to do it, but like I'm actually pretty excited to move. I'm going to move the show over to the main channel.
I think
we'll see what happens, but I feel like I got into a real groove with it, and I kind of believe in what I'm doing with the Weekend Rental episodes, and
So, are you going to move the old episodes over there too?
No. That would just annoy me.
Interesting.
Because
are you going to reset the episode count?
No. It'll start with episode 26. I decided I'm going to do up to episode 25, just because I like numbers.
But you're not going to start over as like episode 1. You're going to start.
No, because then I can just explain the first 25 episodes are on the other channel, because I can also create a playlist on the main channel that includes the videos from the side channel.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm not going to re-upload the videos. That's just going to annoy people. Plus, I also just kind of feel, I think I treated my side channel, that was like the minor leagues, and that's where I got to kind of work through how the show is going to be and kind of get it to where it is. And, I wish I had done the same thing with the magazine read-throughs, because like the first few magazine read-throughs I did were just real rough because it was this new idea. And then eventually I got it to the point where I think, the way it is kind of the way it is, and I like the way, like I didn't used to show gameplay footage. I didn't used to have two cameras. Yeah. Anyway.
But I think that's anybody with a YouTube channel. They start out doing whatever video that they want to do, and over time it expands and becomes a thing that they have always envisioned it to become, and also become more than they ever thought what could be.
I agree. But I'm saying, like, I have the main channel that's well established, and then, like, that was part of the idea of having the side channels. It would be sort of like the laboratory where I would, like, try out different stuff. But, I didn't really ever mean for that channel to become a place where I was going to have, like, whole series of videos like this. That's what the main channel should be for. So, like, side channel should be for more rando stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited to see the reception of it. Although, I bet you a lot of the people that watch that channel are going to go and or be like, "Oh, I've watched these over at the other channel already."
Maybe. I mean, those channels only get.
Those
videos only get like 3,000 or 4,000 views because it's on the side channel. So, I mean, I think there's no way they're not going to do better on the main channel. I think. I mean, I might end up losing some subscribers over this, but I'm at a point where I'm not really concerned about that anymore,
Yeah, you can't be concerned about that anymore. It is what it is. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to spend our show talking about my own crap. So I'm excited about that because,
Are you going to try to get like a few in the can before you launch it?
I mean, that's always what I'm trying to do, like as we record this, I have not yet released the one that will be out by the time this is out. But I mean, I would love it if I could do another one this week just to have it in the can. But, it's difficult sometimes to, because even if a show's only an hour and a half long, it feels like I need like at least 2.5 hours of like leave me alone time.
Yeah.
To get everything set up and whatnot. And sometimes that's hard to come by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't even have like any kids coming down there and being like, what's going on?
No.
I don't. Stomping around.
I don't understand how some people, including yourself, do it.
Well, I mean, I work from home, but they're like at camp now that they're out of school. Like a lot of times they're at camp.
Yeah.
Most of the day, well, until 3:00 usually. But that just means I have like this 3:00 deadline on things that I can get done, and then I got to go and get them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a much different dynamic than it's been in previous years because my wife is working at a job that she has to go into the office every day.
Right.
When previously, she was just here all the time.
Yeah.
And one of us, whoever was available, could go and get the kids.
Yeah.
But sometimes she'll leave work early to get them. But other times, it's just I got to go get them. And then, all they do is come home and plop on the couch. Or, I mean, my daughter's getting to the age now where she's like, I'm just going to go disappear into my room.
Yeah.
For the entire evening. Although she is away at camp this week. Like, she actually like went to this camp. And she's there all week. Like, she sleeps there.
Yeah,
and
summer camp.
They have this whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, I'm very interested to see, like, she went 2 years ago, I think, but they have a very strict rule where people are not allowed to bring their phones.
Oh.
Which I think is kind of interesting, right? So she had to, like, leave her phone here.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, like, that might... get like she might get over like the need to like look at certain things and just kind of enjoy being in the moment. Like it's kind of it's a good and much needed recalibration, I think, and probably something that all of us as adults could probably use if we could like make something like that happen in our life, because I feel like for a lot of adults, like, it's just not possible.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I have to have my phone for my job. Like, if I showed up at work and I didn't have my phone, I'd have to turn around, go home, and go get it.
Yeah. I mean, now imagine saying, like, oh, we need you to... You can have a week off.
Yeah.
From work, but you can't... You probably have to have your phone with you just in case, like, they have some sort of emergency or something like that.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
They can't just say, oh, you got to leave it at home for for a week, and you go on vacation and whatever.
I mean, it's one of the things I like about, when my wife and I go on these day trips to go hiking, is where we are. There's no cell reception at all. And so, for at least, I would say the majority of the day, your phone is totally useless. And, I mean, I enjoy that. I'd be curious, with someone like your daughter, it's like she's just accustomed to that, having.
Right.
And, I feel like people our age are not accustomed to that. The idea of having a smartphone in your pocket and just being, constantly connected and constantly available, like more than half my life was spent not that way,
Right. Right. But even still, like it would be hard to like go for a week without having it.
Yes.
We're going to get a little bit of a taste of that, like what you mentioned, being on a day trip and like not having signal, because we're taking a family vacation for like just about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To Yellowstone, and there's going to be a lot of like no service areas on that trip, I think. So that's going to be kind of neat. Hopefully, I can just disappear for a little bit. I mean, I think it's going to be all right. I'm a little nervous about that trip.
Yeah, why?
Well, I mean, it's just a lot of time, like with our family, like as a central unit in a small confined space. I don't think we've ever done anything like this. Like my wife and I have never even done anything like this for this amount of time. Like, I mean,
are you talking about spending that much time in the car, or just like all of it?
Yeah, just like spending that much time in the car. And I mean, we're renting a camper van, so it's not like a tiny little thing, but it's going to be a situation where we're all just like up in each other's business for 24 hours a day, essentially, for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've never really done anything like this. And I would even say that this will probably be the last time we ever do anything like this, just because my wife really wanted to take this vacation because my daughter is getting, like, she's like on that edge of like wanting absolutely nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
So like this is our last chance. And she took a trip like this, and with her parents when she was around the same age. So she spent the last year mapping it out and scheduling campsites. We don't have a lot of plans. We just know that we have to be at certain campsites each day.
That makes sense.
So we're going like going to Yellowstone. We're going to like the Badlands and like what is it, the Grand Tetons. I mean, this is all stuff I've never been to any of these places, so I have no idea what to expect. But I've heard that it's amazing.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be cool. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fun. I mean, I'm sure there'll be times when you guys get a little bit snippy with each other, just because, as you said, you're going to be in a confined space together. But I'm sure overall it's going to be awesome. But
it might allow us to get past certain things and just be like, and like come together in a way that probably has never happened.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
All right.
I don't mean to dominate the conversation here.
Oh, I feel like I usually do, so I'm glad it's you for once. All right. So as I said before we started recording, I came up with a couple of these are just stupid questions. But
okay.
I mean, here's my question for you after all.
Yes. I mean, it's good for us to get back to the...
So one of them is just kind of mundane, and the other one is morbid. Which one would you like first?
How about the morbid one first?
Okay, morbid one first. Okay, alternate hypothetical reality. Okay, you're not married, you don't have kids. You got a girlfriend, and you guys have been seeing each other for about 6 months. You and the girlfriend. All right, so you're maybe you've started saying "I love you" to each other. Mm-hmm. Certainly, we're not talking about marriage yet. You've only been together for 6 months, so things are like you're exclusive and whatnot. Oh, maybe I see a future with this person, but you haven't been together long enough to start even really having serious conversations about that yet. Yeah. Right? Okay. You're in the car, you're driving, she's in the passenger seat. All right. You're driving down the road. You go through an intersection. somebody runs the red light and T-bones you, like broadsides you on the passenger side, turns this woman into like a quadriplegic. What are you doing in that situation?
I mean, it's like there's really no answer, I guess. You try to be there as much as you can and help out, but I mean, in that situation, you know, it depends on how, like, that's kind of messed up, man. Like, it's like there's no real answer, because either you'd be like, no, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the level of like getting someone pregnant, them having the baby, and then ghosting them. Like, that's like
well, that's a little bit different, but
still, like, that's pretty. It's close, because there's just like, no, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I guess you just do what you can, and like maybe somewhere along the line you decide, like, I want to be here. This is what I want to do. I want to be here. I don't know. Like, it's just.
I mean, maybe I made it harder by having to be like 6 months. It's just like, I don't know why I was driving home from work today and I was thinking about that, because I had to like, you know, turn across the
but you don't want to like disappear from this person's life. I mean, I guess you kind of gauge what kind of support system they have.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have nobody, I don't know. I mean, it's just like a real awful.
It is, yeah. And I'm not saying there's a right question, but it's like, is that event going to sort of accelerate your relationship of like, well, now I have to, you know, now this has to be a more permanent thing, or do you, you know, sort of,
or do you walk and
recede
be like,
hey, I didn't sign up, you know, this is not, I can't do this at this stage, you know. It's not, I mean, it's not an easy answer. I mean, it's probably not the world's best question to ask on the show, but it's just like, you know, that's the kind of hypothetical stuff I ask myself, because like I said, I was driving home and it's something made me think about that. Like, man, what if I got broadsided and I had like a date in the passenger seat and then she got all messed up, but we weren't really that serious yet? Like, what do you do?
Well, what kind of settlement is she getting in?
Well, that's a horrible question to ask.
Oh, I know. But like, are you more likely to stick around if she's getting like a, I don't know, $25 million settlement?
No, you can't. No. That doing that is worse than either of the other.
I know.
Well, neither of the other two things are bad, really, but yeah.
But I mean, like, does that change the percentage whether you like stick around?
I mean, I think if most people were being honest with themselves, it does. But
yeah,
you know, we all hope not.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it even worse. It just like makes it even more unanswerable.
Although then, you could feel a lot better about walking away, you know, and be like, hey man, like, oh, how could you leave her? Hey man, she got $25 million. Like,
yeah, she's
covered.
Like, yeah. But then, you know, you always have to wonder if the people are like, why are you sticking around? Why did you stick around? Is it because you probably, like, people, if you did stick around, what people would think that you're doing it for the money.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Oh, you only stayed with her because of, yeah.
Because of that money. And it's almost like a no-win situation.
Oh, it definitely is a no-win situation.
So
it's it's the Kobayashi Maru, you know, except with automobile accidents.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a messed up thing to think about, but that's an interesting question, because I don't know. It depends on how moral of a person do you believe yourself to be, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the moral answer would be I'm going to stick around and do it, but I'm going to like just do what I need to do to help.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's, I don't know. It's just like, then it's like, all right, so this is your life.
Right.
Now.
Right. And that's my point is like,
your life?
Is that going to be your life when maybe you weren't, relationship wise, you weren't really at that stage yet where like this is going to be our shared life from here on out,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
what if
it's
she,
June
like,
right now, so I'm saying
you?
this is a chick you met at a Super Bowl party back in February,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. So it's, hasn't... Yeah. That's messed up. That's messed up, that's for sure.
I feel like it's not really a question you can answer with the information I provided.
You can't. Yeah. And, I mean, are you 45 or are you 23?
Yeah.
Like at this age now, I feel like at my age now, I would be more likely to stick around than I would if I was like just in my 20s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's no real way to answer it in a way that I think would make everybody completely happy.
Yeah.
Including yourselves.
Yes.
Yourself.
All right. So that was question number 1. Like I said, question number 2 is not morbid. It's just kind of silly, but it's kind of thing I think about a lot, and I don't know if you do or not, but I've mentioned it before in other places that I didn't when I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money, and so a lot of the stuff that I ate or wore or whatever was, store brand or bargain bin kind of, whatever. Like all my clothes came from discount stores, and I had to have the store brand macaroni and cheese instead of Kraft, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like as a result, like now, so now, I mean, my wife and I financially are fine. We're certainly not rich or anything, but dual income, no kids or whatever. So like I can have all the Kraft macaroni and cheese I want is my point. But, I'm also older and wiser, right? And so like for me, like there's certain things where like, buying the name brand of this or that is stupid. And so I buy the cheapest one possible. But then there's like other things where I'm like, no, I buy the name brand, damn it. Like, well, I don't want to give examples because I'm asking you this question. But so I'm talking about like just everyday mundane stuff. Like you can't say like, oh, I only buy like name brand cameras for my show. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean like just everyday whatever kind of stuff. Like, oh, I'm picky about like my brand of milk or sunscreen or whatever.
I'm getting the generic brand like 99.9% of the time. Unless there's some reason that makes me think like that the name brand is better.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. I mean, my mom was a single parent. Like, she got some child support from my dad, but, like, worked 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And she, like, sacrificed a whole bunch to, like, get what she could get for us. But, like, she would get, like, the cheaper generic stuff. You get more of it a lot of times.
Sure.
For that.
It's 5 p.m.
So, like Food Club. I mean, I don't know if Food Club's still around, but like that was like there's certain things though that she wouldn't get like the Food Club, like, pop or soda.
Oh.
She would get, just like the stuff that it never felt like it was something like store brand, like for that kind of stuff, but like everything else, like the Kool-Aid type mix.
Yeah.
It was always like Food Club or probably, I mean, it just depends, I think. I mean, I remember her getting like Peter Pan peanut butter, which is not the generic brand.
No, they had a commercial and everything.
Yeah. So I think that it came down to the stuff that, like for her, I think probably felt like it was worth spending the extra money on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I like this one, so I'm going to get the one that I know that I like instead of getting this other one that I'm not sure if I'm going to like.
Yeah.
But I mean, that kind of stuff, like I don't even think about it. Like generic stuff and like the name brand stuff, like in terms of food, I don't really think about it. And I know you want to say, oh, it's because you don't like food, but I do.
I wasn't even going to say that.
But I do. I mean, obviously.
You said it, not me.
I do. I know.
Like you're acting like I'm not the one doing this. You said it.
No, I get it. But I don't know. Like it does. I just don't care.
So what about like toothpaste?
Well, I mean, there's a lot more different kinds of toothpaste with different benefits and stuff now. I mean, we get like Colgate toothpaste, that like will whiten your teeth.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the generic toothpaste scene is even like. Because we've just gotten what we've gotten, and I never really like look at the other stuff. Well, I mean,
there's like the stuff that they sell for like, I don't know if it's generic, but it's like 99 cents a tube, like AIM.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, AIM was always pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like AIM. I don't use it because I use a Sensodyne, but I used to use AIM before I needed Sensodyne. But I don't know. I remember, I don't know. I'm not trying to pick on toothpaste, but one time my dental hygienist told me that in her opinion, it really doesn't matter what toothpaste you use. Like she thinks it's she thinks it's all just BS. And it's just like, the toothpaste has,
fluoride.
Well, it does have fluoride mandrake, but no, it's got like the abrasive in it, the microabrasive in it. And, but she said it's more important to just get a brush in your mouth and scrub, or whatever. But
yeah.
So when she told me that, I was just like, yeah, screw it. Then I'm just going to use AIM. But then I started needing Sensodyne. So, but that's like a need-based thing. It's not like, oh, I want Sensodyne because it's fancy.
Is Sensodyne, what's the difference with Sensodyne? Or is it like,
it has something in it that like, if you have sensitive teeth, like if like if you're eating like a ice cream sandwich, and it's so cold that it makes your teeth hurt, then you use something like Sensodyne.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, to like pivot for a second, like I talked about how I wanted to like floss my teeth more this year.
Yes. How's that going?
And, I got like a water flosser,
like a water pick type thing.
Yeah. And it was like $20 on Amazon.
Yeah.
And it just like, it's USB rechargeable battery in it. And you just fill it up and you just do it. And I run it at least probably 6 times a week.
But you're doing that instead of flossing, not in addition to?
Yeah. I feel like it's been a kind of a game changer for like how quick and enjoyable flossing is, because it's just kind of I mean, I don't know if it truly makes a difference.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would say. I don't know if it's, but I mean, certainly I don't enjoy flossing, but the idea of like squirting water between your teeth sounds kind of like that might be kind of nice.
Yeah, and it's just like it takes 20 to 30 seconds to do it, and just go around each one. And I guess I'll find out when I go to the dentist next week.
Yeah.
If it has made any difference.
Yeah.
But I recommend it. It was like $20, and it's USB rechargeable, and it's just it was an easy test to see if this is something that I could do instead of flossing.
Yeah.
But I might go there and be like, oh, why haven't you flossed?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, well, I'm sure my dentist would be like, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to do about that tooth.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought of that question just last night. I had a cut on my finger. And what are you laughing about? I had a cut on my finger, and I was putting what?
Is it like a paper cut like underneath your fingernail?
No, it's like, sometimes you ever get where the skin on the side of your fingernail is like peeling a little bit. And like, if that happens, I can't help it. I grab it and try to like rip it off. but then you end up like ripping this whole strip of skin.
Oh yeah. Like a hangnail, and it's like goes all the way down the.
Yeah, and so I that's what I actually. It wasn't a cut; it was that, and it was like not getting better, and so I wanted to put some Neosporin on it and wrap a Band-Aid on it, and that's one of those things for me, like Band-Aids. Like I don't care how much more it costs. Like I have to they have to be Band-Aid brand, like Johnson & Johnson Band-Aids, and they have to be the fabric ones.
Interesting.
And like that's interesting. I walk in there and I'm at Target, my most hated store, and like there's the Target brand ones and the Curads, and they're way cheaper, and then there's the horribly overpriced Band-Aids, and I'm like, I don't care.
Well, Band-Aids are like, that's a situation where Band-Aids are like the name, like the name of it has become synonymous with the brand.
Yes.
So
like
it almost
Q-tips.
feels, Q-tips, Kleenex, like it's all like that kind of stuff that it's become for basically the only game in town when it comes to like those things.
Well, not really though. I mean, like I said, there's Curad, which is also a name brand of bandages.
I've never heard of that. Like,
well, whatever.
Before, but it's like that's the thing though, is that Band-Aids is just the name of the product, but the name of the product has become what the entire
I believe the proper name is like adhesive bandage.
Yeah,
but nobody ever says that. Look,
No,
I cut myself. Do you happen to have an adhesive bandage?
It can't be Band-Aid brand though.
Yeah, no, I don't like
people.
those.
Nobody is what something that nobody is ever going to say.
Right.
Do you have any Band-Aids? But they can't be Band-Aid brand.
Yeah, I do have some because like I don't know where they came from, but we have a few. But I won't use them. I have my own separate stash. You want that's how crazy I am. Like we have in like the hall closet or hall cabinet, like a little first aid thing with all kinds of little Band-Aids in it and everything. I won't use them because upstairs in my bathroom, in the drawer, I have my box of, Band-Aid brand fabric bandages. Mm-hmm. Only ones I'll use. But I'm saying I could think of a few other.
It's specific.
It is, yes. But I just, a lifetime of experience has taught me that is like the world's best adhesive bandage for me.
Yeah.
So that's the only one that I'll use. But I mean, I could think of other examples of that as my point, where I walk into a store, I need something, I want this exact one, and I don't care how much more it costs. Because it's just like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only one that you're willing to
and if they don't have it there, I'm walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the other Band-Aid companies should stop trying.
Yes.
Just make Band-Aid brand Band-Aids.
What do you got going on in that tumbler thing there today?
Water and Arctic grape Mio flavoring.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah.
I love that flavoring stuff. And sometimes I wonder if it's like going to kill me, because I almost never drink just straight up water anymore. It's like always got like a little bit of a squirt of that in it.
Just remember that if it is going to kill you, it's taking the crappy years off of your life.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's like, you smoked, so you're going to skip like 47, 48, 49, and 50, then I would take it more seriously. Oh, those are pretty good years. I'm not willing to give those up. But you're losing like, 84, 83, 82 or something like that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I'm going to die with you if that. I don't drink Mio specifically. Mm-hmm. Just like that's a lyric from a Police song. But no one here but Mio. But I get the Gatorade Zero,
Yeah.
They sell it's like a little box that has like 10 little sleeves in it,
Mm-hmm.
And we go through a lot of that. So I'm saying it's the same concept. It's just a different brand.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different ones. There's got you get the little things that will dissolve in the water.
Yep.
It is a good way to get people to drink water.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wonder if it takes away any of the benefits of just drinking water.
I just think it should be adding benefits. Like give me some electrolytes
you would think.
in there.
I mean, that's what this is doing. It's electrolytes. Yeah. So I have like I'm doing I'm sure that people listening to this will be like, oh my God.
CrossFit? You're doing CrossFit?
No. I'm doing a keto diet for a month just to kind of, I've been like exercising, doing all this stuff, and I could not stop like gaining a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of doing this as like kind of a reset for myself.
Yeah.
And I've previously had luck with it, and like the last time, I got down to like I was like at like 198.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then it took me 4 years to gain that back, to get back to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So if I can do this, get back down to that, then it's like every 4 years, like that's okay with me.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the keto diet, so you'll get no grief from me.
Yeah, and I know that there's a lot of different aspects about it that I like. Once you kind of get into it, I started it on Sunday. Sunday was my first day, so I should firmly be into ketosis at this point.
Yeah.
And it does make me like a lot sharper. I feel like after you kind of get past the like feeling like crap those first couple of days. I mean, I've been like going to bed super, super early.
Yeah.
But I've been very efficient, like from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. But I've been getting in bed at I got in bed at 9:30 the other night and was like asleep before 10:30.
I mean, are you getting quality sleep though?
Oh, I think I'm getting great sleep.
Because then what's the problem? That sounds awesome.
Right. That's what I'm saying is like I feel like I am I mean, I don't know hopefully you're not seeing any except for age-based bags underneath my eyes, and maybe just the way the light is hitting.
Some cucumbers.
Yeah. But it's just a good way to reset, and I like that it kind of makes me very mentally sharp, and especially right now I'm in this. I'm in like the really busy part of my real job.
Yeah.
It's like around this time of the year, and like next week I have to be on the road for 5 days for that, and it's just like a good time to do this and to feel like this.
I mean, I didn't want to say anything, but I mean, I kind of noticed you seem like you're way more on top of it today.
Yeah, wow, I feel pretty good.
Someone lit a fire under Corey today, and now I understand why.
Yeah, it's just the only real challenge is that. There's a lot of stuff to eat, and nobody else in my family is doing this.
Yeah.
So I a lot of times I gotta figure out my own meals. But I've also been so busy with work. It's kind of like, all right, well, I'm gonna have, I got a rotisserie chicken. I'm gonna just eat the chicken that I've
I mean, you should still eat some vegetables though. I mean,
oh yeah, well I have
vitamins.
My wife started making this amazing. Got this 4-way. A top goes on it, and it just has 4 little compartments on it, and she's just been filling with carrots, celery, broccoli, and chopped peppers.
Okay.
Like green peppers and red peppers and stuff like that. Like not hot stuff, but just
yes.
And man, I used to always hate peppers like that,
really?
But they are so good. I just feel like
you're talking about bell peppers or something.
Yeah, like bell peppers.
Sweet peppers. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a great thing to snack on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's been a lot of back and forth people saying oh, you can have nuts, but
I think it's certain nuts, like almonds are really good.
Right, but I've also seen a lot of people saying that I was having a hard time getting into a zone with it, and it was the nuts are what was screwing it up for me. So I'm just I'm just going no nuts.
All right, well you
no
do
nuts.
you,
No nuts. So, I'm just doing that, and I feel good about it. And this is a good time because I just am spending a lot of time in front of my computer. I've been using my standing desk during the long days when I have stuff going on. I mean, I've been busy with work, and I picked up a freelance thing that I'm trying to do a really good job with. Yeah. So it's that, and then I work on my show a little bit at the end of the night, and then go to bed at
get in
bed at 9:30, maybe put on some like Freevee or Pluto TV.
Yeah.
And like it's just a good way, and I will slowly like drift off to sleep. And
is that normal for you? You like to like fall asleep watching something?
I mean, I will, if I sense myself like falling asleep, or I fall asleep for like a few minutes and wake up, like I'll immediately turn it off.
Sure.
But when if I'm home by myself,
yeah.
like if my wife and kids go like visit her parents and they're gone for the weekend,
yeah.
I mean, I sleep all night with the TV on.
Sure.
Just because it feels really weird being in the house.
I get it.
Without anybody else in it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, sure, the animals are here with me and the pets, but I have a really weird, hard time like sleeping when there's nobody in the house, nobody else in the house.
No, I get it. I don't know if did I mention this already last week? I've been working my way through. I don't know if you remember that show China Beach.
I've never seen it, but of course I remember when it was on, because it was on like Thursdays or something like that, where it was.
I don't remember what day it was on, but
I never saw it, but I do remember it being on. I hadn't even thought of that name in years and years and years until you just said it.
Well, it's just, I mean, it's funny how things work, but I think I don't know if I mentioned it on this show recently or if it was only on my own show that a while back I binge watched Cheers for like the 9 millionth time, but I mean, I've already seen all of Cheers, but I watched it.
Oh, you didn't? I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah, I think I talked about it on a weekend rental, but yeah, it was like, while I was kind of not, as part of maybe sort of recovering from shingles and the whole fallout from that.
Right.
When I was just sort of being lazy and resting a lot, like I binge watched the entire series of Cheers. And I think it's in the last season, there's an episode with Dana Delaney in it. And I was like, man, I haven't thought about her in a long, for me, Dana Delaney was like, I mean, China Beach, but I didn't watch that. And then she was in Tombstone,
which I have not seen.
Oh, you should see Tombstone.
But I've heard that it's like, that is on my list of things that I need to watch like ASAP, because
it's just such a fun movie. It's it's not a comedy. It's like but it's not really a drama. It's more of an action movie. It's like if you like Die Hard, it's like that, except in the Old West, as far as like.
And it's like a crazy cast in it.
Yeah. I mean, I love Kurt Russell. I watch anything with Kurt Russell in it. And, Val Kilmer kills it as Doc Holliday.
So, I mean, that's one of those movies that I feel.
Bill Pullman in it. It's got Sam Elliott,
It's Michael Biehn in it.
Michael Biehn, right. Yeah.
But that's one of those movies that I feel like silly not having seen, because it has this reputation of just being like absolutely incredible. And I guess there's like a whole rumor about how like Kurt Russell like ghost directed that movie.
I think I read
someone
that.
else is the director, but
like maybe the director might have gotten fired or something happened, and
right.
Yeah.
Well, no, they never fired the director, I don't think.
Oh,
but I think that maybe he was going to get fired or something like that, and Kurt Russell like directed the movie. But and to this day, he has never said, actually, like I directed it. Like he's never admitted to that happening, which I think is kind of cool. Like it's just it's almost like an urban legend, in a way, which I think is kind of neat.
It is, yeah. So anyway, I like I said, Cheers. There's like it was like she was like a guest star on one episode, Dana Delaney,
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, she was in that China Beach show, and I didn't really remember much about the show. I never watched it. I mean, this is stupid, but I've talked about this kind of attitude I've had about other things before. But I grew up being a huge fan of MASH, because my mom, that was like her favorite show was MASH, and MASH, excellent show. And so I remember when China Beach was on TV. But without ever even watching it, I just thought like, it just seems like they're trying to rip off MASH, which is not correct. But that was my interpretation as like a 12-year-old. It's like, it's like a MASH ripoff. And so I never watched it. But then, I end up reading the Wikipedia article about it. And they're talking about how it was this critically acclaimed show, but, it ended up getting canceled for 4 seasons because the ratings weren't there, but they kept it going for 4 seasons because it was so critically acclaimed. And I was like, well, I got to check this show out, And so I was able to get my hands on some episodes because it's not on any streaming service. but I, illegally downloaded some episodes and I started watching it. And, like I'm watching it and then I'm realizing like, I don't really know much of anything about like the Vietnam War, because it takes place, unlike, MASH takes place during the Korean War, China Beach takes place during Vietnam. And, at least for me, like they didn't teach us about Vietnam in school. Like U.S. history, for me at least, seems like it stopped after World War II. Some stuff happened after that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, because they don't want it.
Well, yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I got to stop watching China Beach because like I don't understand, what I'm seeing. Like they're making references to things and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know where the city is, blah, blah, blah. And so I end up, and again, I'm saying this, it's ridiculous because all of this happened just because I happened to binge watch Cheers. All right. So I'm like, okay, Ken Burns made that documentary about Vietnam, so I got to watch that. So that's like 10 episodes of 2 hours apiece, right? So I watched that, but then after watching it, I was like, man, that was like really, really good. And so I immediately watched it a second time, to kind of pick up the stuff I didn't pick up the first time. I watched the whole thing through a second time. And then I was like, okay, now I got to go pick up some books. So then I went and I either bought or got from the library like 5 different books and like read all 5 of them, and then started watching China Beach again, which I'm doing.
And was it
now.
Was it a lot easier to follow then?
No, but it's just more like I want to understand, that show was made for, people of the generation that,
who like
they lived through it. They don't need an education, but I didn't live through it. My parents did. And so I just wanted to, educate myself, I guess, a little bit about all that stuff. So, but all of that was just because Dana Delaney appeared on
an episode of Cheers.
An episode of Cheers.
Funny how that works. It's like, but I think that's cool that you like watched it again.
I've watched it again since then. I've watched it like 3 times now.
You should just like watch.
I cannot.
All of Ken Burns' documentaries.
I cannot stress enough how good that documentary is. Like I've never, and I've seen other Ken Burns stuff, and all of his stuff is excellent. That Vietnam documentary is like maybe the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Interesting. Well, I mean,
what's
that
was on? Tim Rogers' Boku no Natsu Yasumi video, and then I watched Ken Burns' The Vietnam War, and I'm like, sorry, Tim. Like,
I think that you might be okay with that.
Yeah.
What is that? What is it on? Is it on just on YouTube or is it on something else?
No, I mean,
because I'm sure it was like on PBS or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's still where it is. Like,
okay,
if you donate to your local PBS station, which
is something that people should do.
Yeah, and it can just be $5 a month. Then you get unlimited access to all this PBS stuff on the PBS app.
Oh, that's cool.
Which my wife and I watch a lot of PBS crap. So like $5 a month is like, we're more than getting our money's worth. Like, so like all of Ken Burns' documentaries are on there, and there's all kinds of, like Nova and, Masterpiece Theater stuff.
Oh, that's right. It's funny because, Ken Burns is basically like set the standard for how documentaries flow at this point. He's the one that like coined the whole like panning of like images. Yeah, I mean, in Final Cut Pro, that's literally what it's called. If you want to do a Ken Burns thing. Oh, so that's what they name it. Yeah, that's what it's literally called in there. Yeah, is like a Ken Burns. I forgot what. I mean, and he's done so many different ones. I should. I mean, yeah, he's done like the ones that he's the most famous. He did the war about World War II. He did the Civil War. He did baseball and the Vietnam War. He did one on jazz. But like, there's so many more that I didn't know about. Like little ones. Like maybe they're not like 10-part epics, but But yeah, he's done a ton of stuff. I mean, I remember watching the Civil War one like right when it came out, which was like I was in high school. Do you think that had a giant effect on how you make your like launch videos? I mean, like how they're structured and written, and just like on your writing. If so, it would have been subconscious. I would just say. Okay.
Like, I never thought about, like, I want to make this look like a Ken Burns documentary.
Right. But I'm just saying you were inspired by the work that he had done and be like, I want to make something that feels like that.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, after watching that, it more like makes me want to make like a documentary about something not video game related. Not because I have a problem, but I'm saying, like, you know,
right.
I've often thought about that. Like, man, I'd love to make a documentary about, you know, some other topic, but
something that you really care about, but you don't really have an opportunity to do a super deep dive into something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be like a music. I mean, it could be like an entire genre of music, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like, I mean, if like the baseball is like the main one that I know of, but and I should probably watch that, especially since I know so little about baseball. And I've heard that
the baseball one is
like
really, really good.
I've heard that it's like maybe like the best one he's ever made.
Well, I mean, I would say the Vietnam one is, but the baseball one is very, very good. I've watched that one multiple times as well.
Mm-hmm. How old is Ken Burns, do you think?
He's got to be in his 60s at least.
Okay.
I would
so,
guess.
I mean, he like lived through, I mean, you think did he live through, he was probably a kid when Vietnam was happening?
That's what I would guess. Yeah.
Okay. I'll look into that with the PBS. I think that's something that makes it really well worth it, especially, you know, it's good to support your local, like, you know, PBS affiliate, and then you get all that other stuff. So, and is there like an app for it too? I bet you.
There's it's just a PBS app. Yeah.
Okay, because I mean, my kids watch a lot of PBS Kids when they were kids, and I mean,
I don't know how much kids programming is available in the PBS app, just because that's not what I'm looking for when I have it open.
Right.
So that's why I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, you can watch like Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on there, because I don't know if you can or not.
Right. It's just, you know, it's like interesting and very wholesome, and, you know, things that we should probably know more about. Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, maybe, I wonder if the world would be a better place if more people watched Ken Burns documentaries instead of like YouTube documentaries.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I've always said that, you know, there's a whole couple generations of people out there that, you know, didn't grow up watching Mr. Rogers, and it shows, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Anyways.
You got anything else on your list?
No,
here?
like, what do you have?
I don't have very much, because I've been like so focused on work. I feel like we should crack open that email that probably has not been looked at in.
Oh yeah, we can't. Actually, you know what? I did have one more thing though before we do that.
Yeah.
This was just a quick question, just out of curiosity. Nellie.
Yes.
Does she sleep in the bed with you at night?
Oh, every single night.
Okay, good.
Oh, she falls asleep with my son. And then comes in.
Okay, but I'm saying you don't have some kind of weird rule in your house, like the dog's not allowed in the bed.
No, I mean, maybe we entertained that idea before we got her, and then it's like, you know, it's just there's no way that she would settle for not being on the bed at this point. The only annoying thing is that she can't get up on my wife and I's bed.
Well, you could make her a little staircase.
But the thing is, like, I had this little footstool.
Oh, all right.
That she could jump on, and she just like could not get that she could just jump on that and jump up. Like, even having it right there for several months, and she's still. And the thing is she doesn't. It's not. Excuse me. If she doesn't bark or anything like that. Like, if she'll come in the middle of the night and she'll be like. Like that. Just like this weird like noise.
Is she sneezing, perhaps?
It almost sounds like she's sneezing, but she's not. But she's just doing that because she's like working up to bark if she has to.
Oh, I see. She's getting worked up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was thinking about that the other day, because I was just thinking about, you know, like, to me, like, if you don't let your animal sleep in the bed with you, you're kind of a monster. But at the same time, like, how big of a dog could you have before you're at a point where it's like, look, man, like, it's not like I don't want you in the bed. There's just not enough room, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you had like a German Shepherd or a Golden Retriever, or then, go even bigger than that. Like I have a Great Pyrenees or something. Like,
yeah.
Like if we had that, there just literally would not be room in our bed.
Right.
But then if the dog really wants to be in the bed with you, like what do? You just have to train them like, you have to be in your bed in the corner. I don't know.
Yeah. Or just like have like a bed at the bottom of the bed.
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
We have this little like floof thing that she like sleeps on sometimes. But, she wakes up after a certain time and she like wants to get up there. And Shih Tzus were like bred to keep you warm. So she's all about like getting real close if she can, get into whatever nooks that she can fit into, and she'll sleep all night. And sometimes it's very cute when she sometimes dreams and she just like kind of like lets out these little like whimpers in her sleep. But yeah, I can't go back at this point.
For sure.
Yeah. She's going to be up there for life, and that's just the way it is.
What was that game you told me to buy that I bought? The PS4 game? The
Tunic?
Yeah.
Did you play it? You haven't played it yet?
Not yet. Not yet. But then it was like the PS Plus game like last month.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So now I have a free digital copy, even though I bought the physical copy. But I got the manual that way, which you said is important.
Yes. There's a digital manual in the game, but it's kind of neat having a physical, like, real thing. Yeah. The game is really cool.
Yeah,
it's challenging, but you can put it on, like, an easier difficulty.
I haven't turned on my PS4 in, 4 or 5 months or something, so
yeah,
it's not, I got to, get the crank out and get it cranked up and going,
Yeah. I just put in, like, 70 hours in that game, Stellar Blade. I don't know if you've heard about it.
No, I've not heard of it. Was it on Genesis?
It's not on the Genesis, no. I don't know. It's kind of like it was very controversial for a little bit of time.
Oh.
I don't really want to get into it here.
Oh.
But I liked the game. Okay. I thought it was very fun to play and it had a great soundtrack. And I just like something about it, just like the gameplay. It was very tough. More like slow moving and methodical than it looks like it would be. It's really all about like parrying attacks. It has a little bit of Souls like Dark Souls feel to it.
Never played that either, so
right. But
was that on Genesis?
No, but that might be something you should try sometime, because I did not like them like straight out of the gate. Like I tried and I just got real frustrated with it. And I've been playing other challenging games kind of like leading up to like me trying it again.
Yeah.
Because it's very, 8 and 16-bit era style, like learning patterns, or like learning like certain tells for attacks and then countering it in various ways. It's very methodical. And like as someone who enjoys classic games, it might be something that works for you if you put in a little bit of time to learn it. Which I feel as though I'm ready to return to those kind of games and give them another shot.
Yeah.
Like between like playing Returnal on the PS5, Hades.
I still haven't played Hades either. I did buy that one though too.
It's good. It's good, and it's like another one where it takes a little while to like get good, and then Stellar Blade. So I feel like I might be ready to swing around and try like maybe Bloodborne, because that's the one that's very Castlevania. Like the world is very Castlevania-like.
Oh, I see.
But who knows? Maybe that would be like something that really interests you if you try it. And like Tunic is very challenging.
Yeah.
But you can tone that down if you want to.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you should try that sometime soon.
I know. I will. I did just pick up Sword of Vermilion.
Ooh, that's a good one. But that's good.
Yeah, I've played it a little bit before, but it was interesting. Like this was like 11 years ago, probably, or something like that. At a yard sale here in town, somebody had some Genesis games, Mm-hmm. And I don't remember what Genesis games I bought off the guy. I think it was just like some sports game. It wasn't anything like, ooh, you know. But he didn't have the game, but he had the hint book for Sword of Vermilion. And so I just bought that off the wall. You want to sell me that? And he's like, yeah, 50 cents or something like that. And so I've had that hint book for like forever sitting on the shelf, but I never found a copy of the game. And then while I was on vacation, I ended up finding, I mean, I guess you'd say it's complete in the box, except it doesn't have the hint book, which is fine because I already had the hint book. But that just made me think about you, because it's the same as the Phantasy Star 2 situation, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I used the hint book all the way through that game too, but I only played it when it came out.
Sword of Vermilion?
Yeah, what's dumb about it is that I spoiled that entire game by reading the hint book, but I didn't even, I got the game as a Christmas present.
Okay.
But I convinced my mom to like let me have the hint book before.
Like, let me just have the hint book right now.
Yeah, I just want to look through this.
Yeah.
And
do you remember when you got it? Was the hint book like shrink wrapped with the game? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's like on the back of the box. I feel like the back of the hint book has the same image, like screenshots and information that the back of the box does.
I'd have to go check. So you're saying it was shrink wrapped to the back of the box?
Yes.
Okay. Same deal with Phantasy Star 2?
I don't remember.
That's fine.
With that one, because that doesn't have, I don't know if that has the information that's on the back of the hint book.
Right.
That might have been in the front, because it has the same. I wish that they fit inside.
Yes, that would be nice.
So I'll talk about it here, because I don't know if it even matters. I have a lot of games back here, and I know
doesn't
that
seem like that many. I mean,
the amount of space that I have is finite.
Yes.
Infinite.
Yes.
And some games, I've been getting rid of some games that I have like on multiple systems. Like maybe I have Streets of Rage 4 on the Switch and also on the PS4. But sometimes I have a game that maybe I have like a PS4 and a PS5 version.
Sure.
And, that's taking up two spots on.
But you don't want to wear out the drive in your PS5, you said last time, so.
Well, I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
When it comes to like games. And what I've started doing is like consolidating these games into one case. Like say I have a PS4 and a PS5. Like I have I have Persona 5 for the PS4. And I have Persona 5 Royal on the PS5. I've been going on eBay and buying these like the 2-disc
like Blu-ray cases.
Well, PS2 or PS4 cases. Like they're the same thing. Like
you can just buy the plain PS4 case on eBay.
Yes, it has 2 discs. It has like a little
I get it
thing. Like so, what I've been doing is I've been consolidating like those into one case, and then taking like the cover insert and just like sliding it behind the main cover.
Makes sense.
And then just like combining that, and I started doing it with games that maybe I had a PS3 version and then got a PS4 version of it.
Yeah.
Just because you can consolidate so many things that way, and you keep all the paper materials. They just take up like half the amount of space.
Yeah, that makes good sense.
Yeah, so I've been slowly doing that with like a lot of different games, or if it's something that. Like I had like Tetris Effect, and then they came out with like the Tetris Effect Connected, which has like a whole bunch more modes on there. And it's like the same game, and your like Tetris Effects could be upgraded.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want to keep that original version. It's like, I never know when I might need this, but I don't want to like have this. I want to keep the. I can use that slot like that.
Right.
On the shelf.
See, I thought you were going to say that you were actually like getting rid of stuff. Like.
Well, no, I've been getting rid of stuff too.
Okay.
I've been doing that though too. I've been getting rid of stuff, and I have like I have a large bin.
Yeah.
That if I was like, I don't want this, or I've like decided that I don't want it, like I've been taking it, and I can't combine it into something else.
Yeah.
Then I've been putting it in this bin, and then I just maybe I'm not like selling it or just giving it away. I've given some stuff away to like neighbors and stuff like that. But the idea is like, you know, like I don't need this, but like I'm going to put it in this bin and I'm going to keep this bin like over here, kind of like out of sight. So I remove the game from my collection. I just keep it in there. It's like, well, if I run into a situation where I need it for something, like maybe I need to capture something from like a specific version of a game or something.
Yeah.
Then I can just like pull it out of here. But for the most part, like I can just put this bin of like games that I don't even care about or really even want and just like keep it in my closet. Like it doesn't even exist. Like I don't even have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I mean, I've been doing that and getting rid of stuff in that way. So, and then, you know, if I am going someplace or if I run into somebody's like, oh, I'm looking for this thing. It's like, oh, I was going to get rid of that. Do you want this? You know, so it feels good to kind of get rid of stuff when you can, or just like remove it from your line of sight, I guess.
I mean, I wish I could do that. I have so much stuff that I'm trying to get rid of that it's like a huge pile on one side of my office. So I can't just stuff it into a closet.
Put it all into a bin and then put that like...
No, because I keep saying I'm going to get rid of it and I keep not doing it, but it's just laziness. Like,
yeah,
I just need to start.
You should send me a list
stuff.
and like let me see if there's anything that I'm...
Well, I mean, John Linneman was all hot to trot with the long box PlayStation games, and so I sent him a whole list and then he ghosted me.
I mean, he probably maybe just forgot about it.
I'm sure. He's busy. I'm kidding. He didn't ghost me, but he just forgot. It's no big deal. But now I feel I have to like circle back with him before I sell the stuff. Like, hey man, just double check. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I was going to say something, but I forgot.
You got to jump into that email.
We haven't gotten any emails in a long time though, so this we have some we haven't gotten to yet. But like our last one was January 20th, which I guess kind of makes sense because that's about the time we quit making the show for a while.
Oh, really? So we haven't gotten any new emails like since January?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I don't know what to do with this one. So we got this email from Astral Element. It says, what is your best ridiculous band name or video game character name? But I don't know. Is that like something I have to think of, or just like the most ridiculous band name or video game character name that already exists?
If it's something we got to think of, like I was thinking recently that it'd be a very funny, that Bloody Dog Poop would be a funny band name. I don't know where that came from, but that is one that's like gone through my mind. In terms of like existing like video game characters, one of my favorite ridiculous names that it actually exists is probably Hulk Davidson from Beautiful Joe. I don't know, I just love that name, Hulk Davidson.
Yeah.
You put like a last name that's like a very typical last name with a funny intense sounding first name.
Yeah.
Like if you
think Davidson is a funny last name?
Oh, I think it's when it's paired with a first name Hulk.
Yeah,
it's very funny. I love the name Hulk Davidson. You put, I don't know, it could be, I don't know, you can put any ridiculous first name and put like the last name being like Smith or like Johnson or something like that on there. It's always funny.
Yeah,
and to me at least. It's
the juxtaposition of the ridiculous first name and the, bog
super
standard
mundane
phone book last name. Yeah.
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 Love that stuff.
Yeah. I was watching, it was yesterday or day before yesterday. I forgot what YouTube channel. It's like some YouTube channel that I think is, affiliated with some website, but they do this thing called Wikipedia Fact or Fiction, where they have like a famous musician come on, and they ask them stuff that's, is this true or not? This is in your Wikipedia page. Is it true or not? And I was watching an episode where they had Greg Graffin on there from Bad Religion.
Okay.
And the host said, according to your Wikipedia article, Bad Religion was almost called vaginal discharge. Is that true or not? That'd be a pretty good You know, if you want to talk about crazy, ridiculous band names, like I don't think they would have gone anywhere. You know, that's not radio friendly.
Right.
Vaginal
well,
discharge.
REM was almost called cat butt.
That's not a good. I mean, Greg Graffin said he's not sure about whether or not they actually had. He said he thinks like maybe. You know, it's possible, but you know, they formed Bad Religion when they were like 15. So he's saying back then you have to understand that we were 15 and just trying to be edgy and piss off our parents. You know, so
right.
But as far as the video game character thing goes, I know I'll play a game and they'll have like ridiculous names that you know I'll sort of take note of. I just can't remember any of them off the top of my head. For some reason, I feel like vehicular combat games are a good source of like ridiculous character names. You know, like Twisted Metal or Road Rash or you know any of those Me Too vehicular combat games in like the early days of the PlayStation. You know,
like Vigilant 8.
Yeah, I think it's Vigilante.
It is. But when I worked at Electronics Boutique, somebody called it Vigilant 8, and I always laugh about it.
Did they ever come in and ask if you had any copies of Ape Escape in stock? No.
Or Tom B. Raider.
Yeah.
Tom Raider. What about the name from a video game? What about the name Ackroyd?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one. It makes you wonder if they're a Dan Aykroyd fan.
Well, they spelled it a little bit differently, though.
Right. But
so that's their, you know, excuse, I guess. Well, it's not spelled the same, but it is weird. You know, that's the two playable characters, Aykroyd and Shannon.
You're just like a kind of a funny name and a very standard name, right?
We're talking about, for the folks at home, we're talking about X-Mutants. Which is a game you should play. It's a good game. Next one, I guess this one is mostly for me, I guess. But never mind. He
is this the person yelling about like there's a review on iTunes for this podcast where the guy was just like really angry about me talking.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, Corey should just shut up and like let Chris talk.
Really? I feel like I should shut up and let you talk more. I talk way too much on this show.
Like you know how to tell a story, and I just need to shut up and let you talk.
All right. Well, just for the record, I don't agree with that. So please don't listen to this.
I laughed about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's.
How many stars did we get from the person? Do you remember? Like, was it at least a 5?
I mean, I don't know.
Was it at least a 5-star review?
You should look it up. I mean, I can.
We don't look stuff up on the show.
That's right. That's right. It's probably. It probably was 1 star if I'm on it, but if it's probably 5 stars or 4 stars, like if you're on it. If I'm just like, if I just need to shut up. It's got a text message from my wife saying, so my daughter's at camp.
We talked about this already, camp. And she doesn't have a phone. You mentioned that.
And my wife just sent me a message saying, like, if we come home, because they're at the pool right now, they're swimming.
Okay.
And like, if we come home, you want to take our son Montgomery or Monty to Texas Roadhouse.
Dude, that's like, a great place to go for if you're on keto, dude.
Exactly.
Okay, that was one of my go-to places when I was working on the road a lot and I was doing keto, because I would just get the steak and broccoli.
That's what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Without you just lather it in butter.
But lay out. You can't have any of the peanuts though.
That's okay. It's like I am not a big fan of like having to de-shell your own peanuts.
You don't like that?
No, not really.
Oh my God. That's like half the reason I go to a baseball game is it's like one of the few places you can sit and just shell peanuts, and
it's like so much work for like.
It's really not very much
little
work,
thing
like, at all.
What is it? There's a place in. I don't know if it was like a nationwide place, but it's called Jack Astor's, and they would do that same thing.
Yeah. All right. This is a long email, just to warn you. All right.
Okay.
This is from Chad. By the way, this is November 6th. The last one I forgot, but it was similar. This is November 6th.
Yes. Okay.
He signs it Chad, but then the email came from All American Bootleggers. That's the email. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Like, I would like to know more. All right. Anyway, so the top here says, it's like a news story. It says KCRA News 3, which is the local NBC affiliate here. A former Radio Shack employee by the name of Dwayne is in hot water tonight as he was arrested attempting to leave the country at the Austin, Texas International Airport. Dwayne, a dubious rascal known for kooky antics throughout his life, is allegedly being charged with illegal marijuana production with intent to distribute, simple assault, assault with bodily fluids, racketeering, and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. We interviewed Chris from Sacramento, who was very adamant that I include that he survived the console wars. Chris can be quoted as saying, "I never thought much of the guy, and I'm not all of a sudden throwing him under the bus. I didn't think of him as a ne'er-do-well, but I'm not surprised with the recent allegations." So that's just like, if you remember, anybody out there, when I did a flashback episode talking about working at Radio Shack, Dwayne was the name of my coworker who would smoke pot in the stock room.
Okay.
Cool guy though.
Yeah. Probably fun to work with.
Yeah, he was. He was cool. He's a cop now, by the way. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. Well, no, I mean, he was, that's the worst thing he ever did was smoke a little pot in the stock room.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But then after that, he ended up joining the military and I think going, to Iraq or Afghanistan. And, but yeah, now he's a cop. So, which, I mean, when I saw that, I was kind of like, I chuckled a little bit too, but he's a good guy. So, anyway, Chad goes on to say, anyway, that's enough silliness. Oh, I enjoyed it. Hello, my name is Chad. I've been watching CGQ and CGQ Plus for about 6 years or so. I really enjoy your flashback videos and your general content as well. Although I was born in the 90s and can't entirely relate to your youth or episodic experiences from that time, I enjoy hearing your recall and thoughts on them. Thank you for making YouTube videos. As I understand, it can be quite difficult to put yourself out there for the whole world online. Yes. I'm a neuroscientist at a pharmaceutical company.
Dang.
Wow, yeah. And I find it interesting when you speak about lab work and such. STEM is awesome. Yes, but at least in my case, it doesn't pay that well. But, it's 2:53 on a work day and I'm at home making a podcast with you. So I got that going for me. And he says, anyway, here's my question for you. When it comes to enjoyment of the game itself, what do you and Corey think are the advantages and disadvantages to modern games as compared to retro games or the games you both grew up with? And he answers it, but I'm going to wait and read his answer until we answer. And I'm going to go first because really, this email seems like it's for me and he's just being polite by even including you. I'm joking. I think for me, like with the exception, I can think of a few games that would be an exception. I don't think that there's not too many retro games that have the ability to like draw me in to the point where I can sit there and play it for hours and hours and hours and lose track of time. Like that was one of the things that really stood out to me about Master of Monsters when I played it last month, is that it did that. Like I sat there and played it for like, 6 hours straight, because that's how into it I was. But like, that's, to me, that's one of the advantages of most retro games is sort of the pick up and play aspect of it. But depending on what you're looking for at any particular time, it can also be a disadvantage because you're looking for something that you can really sink your teeth into. And, unless you grab maybe like a role-playing game or something, games that can do that, at least for me, are kind of few and far between. So that's my answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good answer in being able to just pick up and play. But, when I'm not like streaming or like have a specific reason, just like play a retro game, I find myself like gravitating more towards like modern stuff just because I like to just kind of be taken through an experience with it, and like having I know that I'm in for like this like kind of like this narrative experience where it's almost like watching a season of a show, I guess.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start this game and then I'm just gonna kind of stick with it until it comes to its conclusion. And I find that to be very appealing because with retro games, I think that I would play something and then I would play something different the next night. It's hard for me to be very consistent and just like play retro games like every single night.
I mean, that's interesting only because I feel like that's not how I am. Like I get my teeth sunk into one game. Like I've really been playing nothing but X Mutants for like the last week or two. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I have to play this for the show. I was just like, I just got all into it. And so when I sat down like to play some video games, I'm like, oh, let's load up some more X Mutants, you know?
I think that's really cool though, because, you know, it feels like less of a commitment, like you said, where it's like, all right, I got a couple hours to kill. I don't want to get involved into like this narrative and you know, getting pulled along to where I'm like dying to see what's going to happen next. I just want to play this game for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Enjoy it and then just like turn it off and go to bed. And maybe I'll play it tomorrow. I don't feel like I need to play it consistently so that I don't forget where I'm at.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, I get what you're saying too, as far as, you know, obviously I kind of walked away from the game because I haven't turned on my PlayStation in so long, my PS4. But that was one of the things I enjoyed about playing Yakuza Kiwami is I was just like, you know, yes, it was fun to play, but I also got all into the story and you're like, oh man, what's going to happen next, you know?
Yeah. You should go back to that. Like, I would be very curious to see, like, I think that series in general is something that would really resonate with you just because
I really
go
enjoyed
back and forth.
How much I played so far.
Yeah.
It's not
I think that it would.
It's not like I got bored with it. It's just that, you know.
The problem is there's just so many of them. Like there's so many of those, and another series that I would like to play is I played 2 games in this series. It's like the Legend of Heroes games.
Oh yeah.
And there's just so many.
Yeah.
That I feel like if I want to get caught up, I have to say I'm only going to play that series this year. Like I'm only going to play those games, and then get caught up because I don't know how they do it. Like I feel like there's at least like 3 Yakuza games came out last year. 3. And these are all like, you know, 40, 50 plus hour games.
Yeah.
If you want to drag it out, you can rush through them and they are like there's like a lot of side stuff and you kind of get, I like how much side stuff there is. And there's something about those games where I feel like I'm only going to just do the stuff that I feel like I want to do.
Yeah.
Because you won't find yourself getting stuck to a point where you're like, I can't advance because the game will say, okay, so we can notch down the difficulty for this battle.
Yeah.
So you can sit there and enjoy the story and you can do as much side stuff as you just feel like you want to do. Like, I don't know. Like, and I enjoy those games because they all take place in like the same city. And it's kind of cool because the city is like its own character in a way. And you visit those cities in every single game. And one of the things I don't like about open world games is like, oh, now I got this new open world I got to learn, like where everything is.
Yeah. And
through the process of playing the Yakuza games, you really start to like learn that city. And each time they add a little bit more. So you know where, you know, like the first time I played a Yakuza, I was like, I can't find where to like, you know, trade, like get more money from like selling things. And you find a pawn shop and it's like that pawn shop is in the same place in every single game. So you know where it is. Yeah. And you like kind of like learn the city and the people that inhabit it. And that's very intentional.
Yeah.
It works well. And there's something very comforting about those games because of that, where it almost feels like a season of a TV show.
Yeah.
Like each game. And I think that's what they're doing. I think that Amazon recently announced that they're like, it's like all filmed and like is coming out soon as like Yakuza or Like a Dragon Yakuza on Amazon. I think that it's like each season will be like a game adapted, which I think would be amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
don't be
talking.
Sorry. Anyway, he says, thank you for reading my long-winded message, and then, you know, hope you have a happy and safe holiday season, since it was, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we'll do one more here. Jason, I don't know if you say Chiarella there. Chiarella. It says, so I'm still catching up on the podcast, but I've been absolutely loving it. Oh, this question really is mostly for you, I think. Corey mentions a lot how he enjoys karaoke. And I have a friend who used to be the MC at a karaoke bar. He would cue the music, introduce who would be singing, etc. before each song. One night, someone offered him $200 to go up after the next person and sing the exact same song right after they finished it. He did it and got the $200 cash, but was promptly fired. Management didn't enjoy the gag. So there's not really a question there. But then he just says, so here's my question. I guess he was just trying to tell you a karaoke story there. Which, yeah, that does seem like kind of a mean thing to do. For $200, great, but then, you made the person feel like crap. So I don't have an answer for this, so maybe you will. Do either of you have a good story about getting let go from a job, like telling off an annoying boss, coworker, etc.? Talking specifically about getting fired, not being laid off, or a bummer situation like that. So have you ever gotten, I guess I'm thinking of like, half-baked, like F you, you're cool, F you, I'm out.
No, I mean, do I seem like the kind of person that would ever do anything like that? No, I mean, I wish that I did, but I don't know. Especially like as I get older, it's like I don't have time for that.
Yeah,
like I would not want to be in a situation where that happens.
Yeah,
I mean, like I guess like there was a 2-3 month period back in 2017 where I worked at Target because my work had just dried up and I didn't have anything and I was just.
Is that why you get so butthurt when I?
No, not
drag
at all.
Target?
Not at all. I just like there's like somebody who, like a manager or whatever who was like just like real nasty to me all the time.
Yeah.
And is like half my age.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I don't even like I can't even imagine like thinking like I'm going to give this person a hard time.
Yeah.
At this job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was very happy to leave when I left. But I mean, it's just like a weird thing, just like this person randomly giving me a hard time about stuff and just saying, like I was doing, like I'm an adult, like I know I'm doing the job that I'm asked to do.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't care about it, but I'm doing the things that I am asked to do.
Yeah.
And they're saying, "Oh, you got to do it this way. I need you to start all the way over and do this." Just like for no reason.
But it's just some people, you give them like a little bit of power and it goes to their head.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm just like, why did these people care about that stuff? It's like the work's getting done.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you could say that about a lot of things in life.
Yes.
Why do these people care?
So no.
I can't remember, when's the last time we recorded? Was it exactly 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
So, so I had my birthday then since the last time we recorded.
Oh.
Which I only bring up because just coincidentally, she didn't do this for me specifically, but Wanda Sykes came and did a stand-up show at where I work. Like we have like a theater there, and she came. She's on tour right now, and that was the night of my birthday. She happened to have a show there, so that's the first time I ever went to a stand-up. I've never been to a stand-up show before.
Oh, what did you think about it?
I like stand-up, so like I watch it on TV. I just never seen one in person before, so I really liked it. Plus, I like Wanda Sykes, so
yeah. I've only been to and I've gone to 2 like actual, like bigger stand-up things. I had a friend in New York that like had a stand-up show called like Comedy as a Second Language.
Uh-huh.
That was like a big deal. Like, it was like an open mic type thing.
Yeah.
But it got very popular. But I saw Joel McHale was like one that I went to.
Yeah.
And I saw Mark Maron.
Uh-huh.
Which got turned into like a Netflix special, I think. The very one that we were at.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's like, so maybe you can see us in there. I never watched it though.
Yeah.
I think it's called Thinky Pain.
Oh. Well, this going to this Wanda Sykes thing was very interesting because they had a rule, like there was no phones allowed.
Oh, okay.
And so they had some kind of deal where if you had a phone, you had to go over to this like booth or whatever, and they had like this bag they'd put your phone in. So your phone was like locked in the bag, and they would just give it back to you. So you didn't have access to your phone. And I just thought I guess I kind of appreciate that because when I go to concerts or whatever and people have their phones out and they're all recording, I get kind of annoyed. But at the same time, I just felt like, man, that's kind of draconian that you're getting pretty aggro with it. Like, no, we're going to make sure you can't have your phone. But what I told my wife afterwards that what I think was going on is like she's pretty early in the tour. And it's like new material, and you could really tell that she was kind of working through sort of beta versions of some of these jokes, or like she'd have to kind of go make reference. She had like a little list on a table that she could refer to, and I told my wife, I said, you watch. I bet at the end of this tour, there's going to be a Netflix special that she makes. Right. And so and
they don't want those jokes
she's like
to leak.
going through and fine tuning all of her material to prepare for the special. And she doesn't want, footage of like the, alpha versions of these jokes ending up
or the jokes in
YouTube.
General.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah. So
that's cool though. I mean, it was pretty enjoyable. Like
it was nice. I mean, because the rest of my birthday kind of sucked. And so that was at least a nice way to end it,
Yeah. I'm sorry that I didn't know it was your birthday.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, you didn't say anything about it.
I put people's birthdays in the calendar on my phone.
Yeah.
So that I don't forget anybody's birthday. But now, see, I don't have your birthday in my phone, so I'm just as guilty as you are. So,
well, we'll put each other's birthdays.
Yes.
In our phones.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, anyway, okay. Sorry, I wanted to do one more email here because. Yes, perfect. Oh well. Oh, all right. You're gonna have more to say about this than me. You don't happen to have at the ready the "Does it slap or should we eat it" jingle, do you? Could you?
I can make that happen.
All right. First time in a long time,
Very long time, yeah. Let's see. I don't know if this is gonna go through to you. I can make it go through to you. Hang on. There, here we go. No.
All right. Okay, so he says, good day, gentlemen.
Good day.
Wasn't that Zero Wing? Wasn't that like...
How are you, gentlemen?
Something like that. Something like that. He says, I'm hearing rumors on the internet that the podcast may be ending after 50 or 100 episodes. Say it ain't so. Well, this is 55. So what did we say? I think we said we were going to do 100 and then call it a day. Isn't that what we said?
Yeah, we're like,
We'll see.
We're like limping towards
we say a lot of things,
60 at this point.
Yeah, who knows? He goes, okay, anyway, and I don't know. Like I said, I think this is out of my wheelhouse, but I think it might be in your wheelhouse. He says, anyway, here is my Does It Slap or Should We Eat It classic indie band edition.
Ooh.
Sonic Youth, Pavement, and the Pixies.
Okay, so I am gonna yeet Pavement. I would just listen to
you have
Pavement's
to yeet
first
two.
album.
That's the jingle literally says that. You got to keep one and yeet two.
Okay, so I'm gonna
pick one that slaps, the other two get dropped. Here's my question for you.
Right, yeah. I'm gonna yeet Pavement. Like I feel like I'm keeping the Pixies.
Okay,
or I'm
good.
keeping Pixies.
That's
not
what I
the
say.
Pixies. I'm keeping Pixies.
No, he put Pixies. He didn't put the Pixies. He's good.
Yeah, he knows. And I
like the Smashing Pumpkins
myself.
or the Minutemen. you know.
Can I tell you that you're gonna kill me when I tell you that Pixies and Modest Mouse played here like 2 nights ago and I didn't go?
No, because at this point, like
with cat power,
I have no more room for disappointment from you in my body. Like you've already, you know, there's nothing you can do at this point.
It didn't even sell out, and
you could have gone to that. You didn't go to the Death Cab thing.
I know.
I mean, I wish I could tell you make me sick, but that requires you to not meet my expectations, which are, you know, very low at this point. So,
well, yeah,
but. I mean, that's easy for me to say, but, you know, I don't have kids, right? So, like, my wife and
I've seen Modest Mouse live opening for, they opened for REM, I think, last time.
Oh, wow. When was that?
Last time.
You remember?
Man, that must have been, it was the day before my bachelor party, so it would have been the like 2008, like June something, 2008.
Okay, so this is after they already kind of got popular with Float On.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was like their one with the... had the blue cover and like
We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank.
Yes.
Also a good album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were opening for REM though when they were, I think it was the Accelerate tour, which was the last time I saw them.
I only saw Modest Mouse once, but it was in 2001, so it was before you know, all that.
Right. Well, I should have gone, and I thought about it like all the way up to like the last minute. It's just that I didn't.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't know.
It's disappointing. But
I don't know what to tell you.
What can I do at this point?
I mean, going back to stand-up comics, I really wanted to. Here's the problem. So, like, I just don't think this is how my wife wanted to spend her birthday. But the Greek Theater in Berkeley, which is where I saw Death Cab last year, which is a great venue. Bill Burr was there on my wife's birthday, and I would love to see Bill Burr live, but I just. You know, I don't know if that's up my wife's alley or not, and I just didn't want, you know, she had other things she wanted to do on her birthday, so I didn't even want to bring it up, you know?
Well, I mean, that's a cool person to have seen, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't have mind seeing him, but, I mean, he'll go on tour again, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so who are you keeping?
I did. My answer is the same as yours. They got to keep the Pixies. You know, Pixies slap, and you know, unfortunately, I have to eat Sonic Youth and to a lesser extent Pavement, which is funny because Matthew says that he says it's hard to deny the influence Sonic Youth and the Pixies had on later bands like Nirvana, but Pavement will always be my favorite. Interesting.
I mean, I listened to that first Pavement. Like right after I listened to the 60 Songs episode about it, which is kind of funny because that's how it's been. Like I listened to them and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna revisit this album, or I'm going to listen to this album with like a new understanding of it, or like, you know, like Pavement, like their first one, like I only knew, you know, Cut Your Hair off of it, and like kind of going back to it. Knowing it, like after listening to this, I'm like, oh, this is like a lot better than I probably gave him credit for.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still gonna have to go Pixies because I feel like Surfer Rosa is like outweighs like everything.
Can you please do me a favor?
Yeah.
And just hurry up and go have sexual intercourse with the 60 Songs guy so that you can get it out of your system.
No, well, seriously, you should. You should listen to it.
I know.
I mean, you said you're going to listen to it, and
I say a lot of things that you know.
I know.
I make a lot of false promises to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should check it out. I think that you would like it. And it's probably the situation where if you listen to it, you'll be like, oh, well, now I want to listen to all these too.
Probably so, yeah. But I got China Beach to deal with right now.
Okay.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I think that's kind of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Texas Roadhouse.
I'm actually a little bit jealous. I gotta say, that sounds pretty good.
I mean, Texas Roadhouse is one of those places that I never went to.
Yeah.
It just one of those places that I just like never wanted to go to, but now it's like I always get that, and it's like so many places that are the same, like the Texas Roadhouse, and like there's like, is there like Longhorn, like another one?
We don't have that here, but that sounds like it would be a thing.
And then what's the place with a bloomin' onion? Why can't I think of it?
Oh, that's Outback Steakhouse.
Outback, yeah. I mean, they all are like basically the same thing.
I've never been to Outback.
I mean, you're not missing much.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to say that I think like Texas Roadhouse is like some kind of gourmet steak, and I haven't been there in a long time, so I don't know what their prices are like now. But like when I used to go there, you know, I got a decent sized little sirloin steak and a pile of broccoli, and I felt like for the price I paid, that was a pretty darn good steak. You know, compared to going to a lot of, you know, casual dining establishments for a reasonable price. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part about going to where Texas Roadhouse is going to be the fact that I can't have any of those
biscuits
or the rolls with that cinnamon.
Oh yes,
butter.
Yes, that's what that. Yeah, sorry,
I'm not going to be able to have that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I would get there and I'd have to tell them like, please don't bring those.
Be fine.
I doubt it. I bet that's got sugar in it.
Yeah. Oh, it's got the cinnamon sugar.
Yeah. You know, a dessert that I used to eat a lot when I was on keto. I don't know if this will appeal to you or not, but I would get the sugar-free Jell-O, and then you can buy sugar-free whipped cream in a can.
Oh, okay.
And I'd put that on there. That was pretty good. You know,
dude. Well, I have like some whipping cream I could probably make some stuff out of.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If you have that, you can make your own whipped cream. Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like whipped cream by itself.
Oh yes, very good.
I will eat that as a dessert.
Yeah,
by itself.
Yeah.
If I could.
Cool Whip. Just give me Cool Whip and a spoon. You know.
Yeah.
I would get soup. Oh, you don't like chocolate? I forgot chocolate gives you.
It makes my skin feel like dry and kind of sticky.
Well, then never mind.
But the thing is, like, what I have been doing though is I have like yogurt. What's the kind of yogurt?
A Greek
yogurt.
Think
of it right. Greek yogurt, yes, yeah. Greek yogurt, and putting like some blueberries in it.
Yeah.
Then putting like non-sweetened like sugar or not sugar, non-sweetened cocoa, like a little bit of cocoa powder in it.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you stir it up, and it's like
pretty good,
pretty darn good.
I eat Greek yogurt for breakfast every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the probiotics.
I got that's my little system. I cut up some strawberries and then put a little bit of blueberries in a bowl. I put some Greek yogurt in there and I sprinkle some granola on the top and I mix it all up, and that's my breakfast every day, and I never get tired of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things I can never imagine getting tired of.
Yeah.
But what one thing I just thought about is what I need to do more often is I love to have like salami and putting like cream cheese on it.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that I had cream cheese until I just mentioned that.
Get some of that peppered salami. That's the good one. I mean, okay, all salami is good.
You got to like cut it?
No, it comes sliced.
Oh, or are you talking like a...
It's like the outside of it is like encrusted with black pepper, but when you get it, it's already sliced up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds delicious.
Sometimes they have it at Costco. I don't know if you go to Costco. I forgot.
We don't have Costco membership anymore.
All right, well, never mind.
Because every time we were going there, we were spending like $600.
Yeah.
And that's just stupid.
Yeah.
So for our own sanity and bank account, let's just let it expire.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
that's going to do it.
This is episode 55.
Yeah, 55.
It's going to do it.
Yeah.
And don't let anybody tell you that you can't drive 55.
Right.
If you can probably drive 59. Just go 4 miles over the speed limit, because once you hit that 5, then you can get pulled over. But if you're only going 4 miles over,
is that how it is where you live? 5 miles over.
That's the rule I've always followed.
Wow.
Is like you can go go 4 miles over the speed limit. Like if it's 55, then I would go 59. Wow. Or on the expressway, if it's like 65, then you just drive 69.
That's crazy.
Or if it's 70, you drive 74.
If you drove 69 on the freeway here, somebody would want to kill you. I would want to kill you. If I was stuck behind you, I would want to kill you. Like here.
Okay, well, it's 70
I think
here.
it just varies
Well, if it was 65.
Here it's 65, but the real speed limit is 80. Like, you're not going to get pulled over if you're not going at least 80 here. So everybody drives 80.
You can't say you're not going to get pulled over.
No,
because you might.
Nobody ever gets pulled over.
Depends on what quota they need to meet.
I don't know.
Probably how close
I'm
it is
just telling you how that's just the way it works around here. No one's getting pulled over unless they're going 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't go. I mean, I will pass people. I'll drive 74 and
But you don't. Okay, but if the speed limit is 65 and you're driving 69, you're not like camped out in the left-hand lane, right? Like, holding up track. That's the worst kind of person.
Yeah. Like, why would anybody do that? I mean,
I don't know, but a lot of people do it. You know, I mean, I'm going 80 miles an hour, but if somebody comes up behind me and wants to go faster, please be my guest. I get out of their way, you know?
I like to get in the left lane and then hit my cruise control to be like completely exactly even with the person next to me.
That's the worst.
I would never do that, but it's just like the idea of like having the power to do that.
Yeah.
If you're just feeling like you really need to make somebody's days worse.
Yeah.
Day worse.
You know, the Germans have a word for that. When, like, you get one semi trying to pass the other semi, but the one semi is only going like a half a mile an hour faster than the other one, you know, and they're all just holding up traffic.
Or they're passing going down a hill, and then they both hit the uphill.
Right. Yes.
And then they both, like, they can't.
Right.
And it's like they got to slow down and goes back to exactly where it was at before.
So in German, that's called Elefantenrennen, which means elephant racing.
Interesting. That's... Yeah. Elefantenrennen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds like something that would happen.
Yeah.
In hell.
Yes.
Being stuck behind that.
All right. We got to go. I got a new pair of shoes sitting on the front porch. I got to go collect and try on. So.
Hope they fit.
Podcast over, you know.
All right.
But you got to say.
Bye, everybody.
No. Say it.
Have a good week. I hope you have a good week.
Thank you.
Couple weeks.
Yes. Have a good fortnight, everybody.
Yes. There you go. Everyone have a good fortnight.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.